Hello and welcome back. I'm Mystical, this is Mystical Gaming, and we are back into Watcher of Realms for another video. Now today I wanted to have a look at the inspiration ability from Dolores. It's her ultimate, and let's have a quick look at it. Applies 40% inspiration to other allies in range for 22 seconds. Increases attack proportional to the caster's attack. While this effect is active, other buffs affecting the inspiration will not take effect. Additionally, the caster is immune to such buffs. Okay, that all makes relative sense, but I actually wanted to give it a test. Now, the other thing to look at is her awakened level. We do want awakened 1, that is the inspiration effect of graceful dancing increases by 20%. Okay, so when we have a quick look at inspiration, it starts off, applies 30% for 14 seconds when you first get Dolores. When you level up to level 5, you then got it down to applies 40% for 22 seconds. Now with the awakening bonus, that's another 20%, so you've now got applies 60% to all other allies in range, and that is the proportion of her attack. So we are getting 60% of Dolores' attack added to. Now one of the first things I wanted to check out was the inspiration given to all other allies within range. I just wanted to make sure the range was actually the formation that you see when you first place it down. So I've gone to a nice easy guild boss. I'm placing down Dolores, and then we are going to add in the other champions around her at her maximum range to see who gets what and make sure that everyone else does get the buff. Now we're placing down a defender. She is out of range, so she shouldn't get the buff, our defender. Our healer there should get the buff, although Vortex won't be affected by it because his healing is HP based, not attack based. But then we've got our mage and our marksman, and they both should also get the buff. So we've got 4 people in range, 1 person out of range, and 3 of those should be affected by the buff. So we're just waiting for her to count up to her ultimate, and then we will trigger that and we'll see what we actually get to make sure that we are getting everyone in range. Now that gets triggered and we can see everyone there has the icon above them to say that they have the buff. Now our next run is just going to be with Setram. I'm going to use him alone. He's on an easy level of the guild boss, and we'll just see what sort of damage he's knocking out and what numbers we're getting with him. And then we've got a datum that we can actually work from. Now I am going to wait until the timer hits 4 minutes and 35. I'm going to place Setram down then. I will run him for 30 seconds. That will take us to 4 minutes and 5, and that will be just as the first shield comes up. So it's only a small window, but we should be able to get some figures out then. Just see what's actually happening. So we're hitting for 5k fairly regularly. It's 5,680 we're actually hitting for, and we're just waiting for the boss to hit the first wall. Once the wall's hit or the shield comes up, then we'll call it a day there and we will knock it on the head. So there's the shield. I've got to quit the battle because this is the only way I know where I can actually be able to check out some numbers. We can have a look at the damage he's done. I'm not overly concerned about the damage he's done, just more regular hits on what they've actually achieved per run. Now our next run is going to be with Dolores and Setram. So place down Dolores right at the start, just so we get her ultimate up and running, or at least we get the timer ticking down on it. At the 4 minutes 35, we then place a Setram down, and then he should probably get a couple of hits in before Dolores' ultimate goes off. Now we can see we're hitting for the 5k again, which is about right. So 5680, that's what we're hitting for, and now we just triggered Dolores' ultimate. You can see it come up there, and now we're hitting for 7,000 to 8,000, so that's a nice damage increase there. We're getting an extra 2k, which has got to be what, 20% just over on its damage boost, which is nice to see. Now one of the other things I wanted to check out and to see what happened is attack-based healers. So I've got Hollow down now, and I'm going to use her with a defender. I'm going to place the defender down to take some damage at the 4 minutes 35, and then I'll place Hollow down just to see what her healing ticks are before we see how much the attack-based healers are affected by Dolores' ultimate or the inspiration buff. So there we go. The heals are coming in. Now it's quite tricky because the defender also heals herself as well, so she does a defensive heal every 8 seconds. But essentially, Hollow's healing for 1,914 on a tick. There we go. There's there's the heals from Hollow coming in, and then there's the shield going up. So if we run it out, if you slow down and you want to add it up, you can add it up, but I have gone back and checked it. So we have had the healing from the defender, she's healed herself twice, and the rest of it's from Hollow, and that gave her her healing total done for that fight. Now this next run through, it's the defender who self-heals, and we know she heals for 1430. When we see those come up, we know there we are. They are the defensive healers from the Holy Paladin. We are expecting Hollow to heal us for 1900, so we'll see how that goes. And then in range of Hollow, we'll have Dolores. So we'll start by putting Dolores down. When her ultimate's ready, we'll be able to pop it. So we're expecting to see Dolores going down, the defender going down, Hollow going down, and then Hollow should heal for 1914, and then towards the end hopefully we get a heal in from her with the inspiration buff on her as well. Then there's inspiration, there's the buff gone off, and now we're hoping to see a heal towards the end. Now we expect the next Dragon Claw to strike, that will do the damage, and now to heal from it, 2000, almost 2400. That is a nice boost to the healing tick for Hollow. Now, just before we end this, I did want to go over the gear that I was using on them. So Setram, naked, naked. There's going to be a common theme going through this. That is essentially it. Although some of the characters I did forget to take their artifacts off, but I don't think it's affected it. Otherwise, I just stripped all the gear off them. And again, Dolores had her artifact on, which you'd have seen come up a couple of times. But other than that, everyone else was naked, and that includes Hollow as well. So that's why the numbers you were seeing were relatively low, if you were curious, because I didn't have any gear on. But that way round, I did save any issues with getting any potential crits, which would have messed up the numbers I was reading. And I haven't got enough gear to make sure I always crit. So chuck some gear on Dolores, and we'll chuck her back in to the guild boss. And we'll chuck her in solo, or not solo again, we'll duo her with Setram. Setram still hasn't got any gear on, and we'll just have a look at what Setram starts hitting for now Dolores has actually got some gear on. We now place Setram down to duo with Dolores. I have made a small mistake. I haven't placed it beside Dolores, so her artifact doesn't trigger. But we can still see Setram there is hitting for the 5 to 6k, which was normal. No great shakes there. That's what we're normally expecting. What he was hitting for last time. Remember, he still hasn't got any gear on. Now, we're just at the point where Dolores is going to kick her ultimate off. There it goes. We can see the sword appear above Setram, and now we have a look at what he's hitting for. Now, he's started to hit the boss for 10 to 11k, which is a sizable increase. That's actually doubling his damage. Now, granted, he doesn't have any gear on, and Dolores does. So that is a sizable increase for him. So if you got this far in the video, thank you very much for watching. If you could leave me a thumbs up and a subscribe, that would help out massively, as I'm a young channel and I am trying to grow. I think before the week is out, I'm going to do the same again, but do it with healers. I'd like to see what affects healers over attack percentage, attack speed, whether I can crit heal or not, whether healing effect should be worn by the caster or whether it affects it being worn by the recipient of the heal. I don't know. But I'm going to do the same sort of thing again with the healers, and we'll see how that pans out. If you've got anything that you would like to see me try, please feel free to write it in the comments below, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a nice night.